Well, it's good to catch up. I'm looking at the clock right now, and it's March 12th, which takes me back to that pandemic era. So,
Yeah. That was the
so
first time I talked to you was 6 years ago.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So right now, officially, after all of the dust is settled, I wanted nothing more than to get out of that era and talk about new albums. How did you get out of it? How did you get out? How does it feel to release music and be on the stage now?
It feels great. Somebody asked me a question about how my relationship with the horn has changed. And I was like, ever since 2020, and I took like 6 months probably off of even putting the horn on my face just
Yeah.
because it was sad. It was sad. It was like, why am I even practicing? There's no gigs, there's no future.
Uh-huh.
Ever since then, I'm a musician first and trombone player second. Like it really did change my relationship with playing, actually. Hope that doesn't sound sad. It really
No,
did.
no, it actually sounds interesting because it's almost like you're taking ownership over yourself above anything else. And no matter what happens from here
Yeah.
on out, you're going to be a musician. It's like you separated the yolk and the egg.
Yeah, basically. Just brass playing. Are you a tenor player? I was trying to remember if you played something.
I can mess up the drums a little bit, but not much. I have always held on to the belief that I want this to be a mystery of how you all play music. I want the one thing in my life that I just want it to wash over me in a visceral way.
Okay.
So
Um, it's really physical, right? So you got to
yeah,
do it every day. And if you don't do it every day, there's hell to pay, you know? So like you become so one with your instrument after a while, and then eventually, or especially around 2020, the trombone was my boss at that point. Like I I was like a slave to the horn. And then after I sort of broke that relationship up, God, this sounds so weird to say, but like, took 5 months off, didn't play, and then came back to it with just a different perspective. That was cool actually. And I think it changed the way I approached the horn. I think it changed the way I approach music entirely.
and I don't think about that because I don't play an instrument, especially a brass instrument, where
Yeah.
your body has to get used to it. It's like a muscle memory thing.
Yes.
But then I start thinking about Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours of
Mm.
mastery, right? There's that aspect of it too that
It's
you
just
put,
it's ongoing. You can get those
yeah,
10,000 hours and that, but you have to sustain that. And
yeah,
that's just, I mean, I'm sure an athlete would tell you the same.
that's
Like it,
exactly what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like when I think about these athletes that have like they broke through that maybe they started their like Michael Jordan didn't really start getting good until he was a junior in college.
Right,
And
right.
part of all of these people that get good is they practice and they practice and they practice and they condition and they work out and that's all they do. And then they get like Tom Brady talked about that too. Like he was relentless about diet, about how he did it, and it's that whole notion too of playing an instrument. The more you're around all of it, the better you're going to be.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
So speaking of, that's a perfect lead in to the name of the album, The Sorceress. Talk to me about it seems as though you branched out into this more eclectic kind of stew of audio bits to make this sound.
Yeah, okay, so I had just finished touring with a group of different people, John May specifically the drummer, and I was really digging playing with him, and I was like, we got good chemistry. He takes my playing to different places, and my chops feel really good. Like, let's make an album. So I had like a handful of tunes, and I wrote some stuff specifically for that group, and I knew that hiring different people, it's different styles, right? Like, I'm going to cater to the styles that they like. Let's try some new things. The eclectic nature, the different styles is really a product of the people I've tried to working with, just to change it up, like this is album number 5. So I was like, I could take some swings, I just wanted to try some different things. So that's where that came from. And then the title of it was on my last release, some local radio and local the the Edmonton Journal. One of them described, and they didn't like plan this, but one of them described me as Edmonton's enchantress of the trombone, and I was like, that's cute. And then the next one was Audrey, then sorceress of the trombone. So I was like, it's official. Yeg Media, like the media here wants me to be a witch, and I think that's really funny. So I just put that in my back pocket, 3 years ago, and then I knew I was going to call this album The Sorceress. And just like just like change the vibe up too. You know, my
Yeah,
previous four albums, even just the cover art were sort of goofy, like there's some silliness. And then with this one, I was like, I'm like middle aged now. I can
right.
be a little serious. I can just be explore different things,
Sure.
present different things.
So, the thing that you're talking about is you're taking your music into different directions. You're putting electronics, you're putting these different elements into it. And I think about if Miles Davis came back to Earth and he like looked at modern jazz, how do you think he would take all this in?
I mean, hopefully positively. It has to be, it's just my opinion that jazz is such a personal music. Like I studied classical music, and so you're trying to always honor the composer and you're trying to fulfill the vision of the conductor, you know, like it's not about you. Whereas jazz is, it's all about you. It's all about your personal expression. It's all about your influences. And so that's something Miles did too, right? Like he played what was current and just through his own, through his own expression. But a lot of what I added to this record is a reflection of what I'm currently into.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think most musicians are like that. Like I don't just listen to jazz. I'm sure you don't either. And
yeah.
there's so many genres and it's so accessible. So, you know, yeah, that was kind of the goal too, was like, I don't need to keep pretending with these albums that I am a exclusively jazz musician. I'm
Uh-huh.
not.
Right.
And I don't need to keep pretending that I'm exclusively a trombone player. Like I like singing. You know, like there's yeah, it was just time to sort of show myself and I suppose the audience by extension different sides of me.
So in this incarnation of this project, what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Fun. I mean, I think I say that every single time.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's some fun quirkiness on this one.
yeah,
And it's long too. I even thought about like I was like, I have enough tracks here that I could just release two albums, and one will be sort of poppy electronica, and the other one will be straight ahead. And then I was like, who cares though? Like that is what my playlist sounds like. So what do they get out of it? I mean, a more complete picture of who I am, because
yeah.
it's kind of diverse, it's kind of broad.
Before we got on, we talked a little bit about what's going on, not only in America, but in the world and how all that's permeating out. And artists always play a very special role in the development of things that get heavy, like right now. And it's affecting Canada in a different way than America is feeling it just because we're radiating out, although it's affecting the whole world. So, my question to you is this. How much of what we're living through with when we're in a war and there's this immigration war and there's all this crazy stuff going on, how much of living through these modern times right now are you thinking about giving the listener a way of kind of escaping and going into music? Is that on your mind as you deliver
It's
music?
not even just the listener, it's for me too,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Like that
Yeah,
and if the listener gets that by extension, that just means I'm being honest, hopefully. But like, you know, some of the music that I wrote on this one is like I wrote it during a crisis points, like sad adult, you know, sad adult moments that I had to sort of get through. And like when I listen back to those tracks, I remember where I was, I remember what I was going through, and recording it, writing it is a way to sort of process it. And then recording it with like people I love and admire is a way to like turn it into something joyful. And that's like really all we can do. Because in these trying times, I'm sure I feel completely powerless
yeah,
to affect change. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. Like you know, the little bits of activism, attending protests or voting, like any of that, I feel it kind of feels like a drop in the bucket, but at the very least I can create something,
yeah.
you know, just to help myself get through it and then maybe listeners get that escape too. But yeah, that's why we do it, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think that's why we're writing songs. I mean, I'm not writing a jazz trombone album to become a millionaire. I'm
sure.
doing it because it's how I'm trying to get through my life.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing you pointed out there was, there was trying times you were going through and you wrote this music. And I'm always interested with how the artist interacts with their art. Some people don't want to go and see a movie they're in. Some people don't want to listen to an album after they're done with it. And by the time we're talking, you've already done this. It's in the can. You're just promoting it and you're already going to the next thing. What's your relationship with each of your albums? Do you go back? Do you listen for nostalgia? How do you do that?
I do go back. You know, that's a great question because I haven't listened to my earlier albums. Like I will, I've been listening to it nonstop for the last year. It's kind of been in the can for a while,
Yeah.
and just reminding myself, oh, hold on a second. Um, the I have been listening to this last record nonstop for the last year because I like it and because I haven't released it to the public. But I think as soon as I've released it, as when I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking back over the last five. I'm like, nope. After I send it out into the world, I'm finished with it and I'm looking
Yeah.
out for other things.
Yeah.
Because they are like, I mean, some of the tracks, funnily, like the track Let's Give Up. I've had been playing that one for the last couple of years, and it has lyrics that people will listen to it and be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I just think it's funny because I thought the lyrics were funny, and then I actually had to sit down and listen to it and be like, "What was I going through?"
Yeah.
And then I give it context for the time that I wrote it, and I was like, oh, that's what I was writing about." Like
Uh-huh.
I had no clue. So it's funny that my art is like journaling basically, and that I
Yeah.
don't understand the meaning of it until well after I've released it into the world.
It is interesting because I think artists do have that internal like therapist that's always there because when you do create, it is like a journal. It is like a very personal statement. It's very public, but you're
Yeah.
still growing and you're going through it. And I would think going back to albums for some people and for certain situations is almost like writing a memoir. Some things you just don't want to revisit again. You're ready to move on.
It's true. And like I don't get too precious about the way I sounded 10 years ago, right? Like
Sure.
hopefully I've become a better trombonist and I don't listen to it and go, "Oh, I sounded so bad." Like, yeah, I hope I sound better at 40
Yeah.
than I did at 25. That's the goal. So it's not like I'm not being precious about the music, but when I'm done with it, I think I'm done with it. And then I
Yeah.
can did it once every few years and be like, "Oh, that's,
Yeah.
it's like a what do you call it? The photo album. It's like a photo album, but
Yeah. Well, but you get on stage too, and you're gonna go into your catalog. So one way or another, you're gonna go back to it, whether you
no,
listen
but
to it.
playing it though is always different than listening to it,
Okay,
you know?
interesting.
And
Different
especially
psychology.
well, it's I often especially with these last couple albums, I had such large ensembles.
Hmm.
So it's and people from out of town. So it's they bring something different to it. So when I'm recreating it with a trio or a quartet, it's going to be different.
Yeah,
And with different people, it's always going to be different. I mean, like that's the beauty of jazz
yeah.
is the the individual creates the whole thing. So
Huh?
if you're playing with different individuals, it's a different song.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I know it's snowing up there, but we're technically heading into the warmer months. That's
Mhm.
tour season, a lot more shows. What are you going to do to promote the album? What's coming up for you?
I mean, I'm touring around my province, which Alberta is huge. Like all of the Canadian provinces are enormous. So I'm
Uh-huh.
doing some stuff within Canada. I'm not doing any festivals this year. I'm going to try to do that next time. But I mean, I'm in Saskatchewan. I'm doing some stuff in the Yukon, which will be super cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm just staying within Canada.
Okay.
And I mean, you brought it up at the beginning. Like I'm a little bit hesitant to go into the States right
Yeah.
now. I've just heard so much about ICE and the right visas, and that stresses me out. So I'm
Yeah.
going for things to cool down a little bit before I start seeking entrance back into the States.
Yeah. Well, we're
I don't know.
getting
Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
we're getting the World Cup in Kansas City, which is just to me is weird, but we're
I didn't
getting
know
it. Yeah. So we're going to get an enormous influx of people from around the world, and there's already all of these rumblings is ICE going to be here and what's going to happen? And it's just all of it's weird. Like we're opening the doors up to the world for something that's celebratory, and everybody's nervous about the fact that they could be,
that.
in trouble for doing it. It's just a weird time on this planet right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
it's not like I think Americans are going to turn me in. It's just there's so much confusion about for me anyway. And I mean, maybe I'm a little on the paranoid side, but I've heard just a handful of horror stories that I would rather be safe than
yeah, well,
sorry.
you can't be complacent in these times, and you can't assume that anything's going to happen. It's literally like the only time in the history of my whole 50 some odd years on this planet that I've ever seen anything like this. And it's like
Okay.
I'm hearing stories too, where it's like, this is America. This is not something that happens here, but
Yeah.
it's weird. So if anybody wants to get a copy, download, buy a copy, any of the good business that will benefit you, how do they do it?
They can go to Bandcamp. They can go to Chronograph Records. If they
Okay.
want a physical copy, they can go to Chronograph Records, or they can go to my website, send me a message. I will mail one out to you.
Okay.
We'll get them out there. It's
Okay.
being distributed through Fontana North in the US.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's the distributor there. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah. Well, I will put links in the show notes and make sure that I shout it from the mountaintops. It's so good to catch up with you. Like I said, when we went through that whole pandemic thing, I was like, I can't wait to talk to everybody once we're out of it. So we're here, new music, and thank you again. I appreciate it. It's great to catch up with you.
We get to do this every 3 years.
That's
Can't wait
it.
to
I love
talk
it.
in 2029.
We'll get on a cycle. It's wonderful. So
Okay, perfect.
best of luck. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye.
Neon Jazz.